Welcome my dear students of class 9A and 9B to my civics class. The points as I mentioned, the points of chapter number 2, the salient features of the Constitution of India. Points, directive principles of state policy. 2, definition of directive principle. 3, nature of directive principles of state policy. Economic principles. 5, classification of the directive principles of state policy. Number 1, directive principles of state policy. You know, in our country, there is a system introduced by the constitution maker, that is, the government of India should follow. These are inside in the constitution in order to provide opportunities to the citizens of India. For that reason, in the constitution, there is a system of directive principles of state policy. The directive principles are not enforceable by law. It is not enforceable by law, but they form the basis of all legislation in India. These principles are meant to guide India's progress towards, the state where all citizens are educated or have become educated, their culture, their standard of living, their style of working, each and every part is thoroughly learned, and by learning all these things, they become self-sufficient, and as a result, they become, complete citizens and provides many facilities for the country. As a result, country becomes prosperous. The directive principles serve as a yardstick to judge the performance of this government in power. Okay. Directive principles are one kind of teaching through which the people, basically uncultured, uncivilized, uneducated, they can get knowledge. They can fairly understand it that this country belongs to them. So something should be done on behalf of this country, since they are the citizens of this country. They are earning money and facing their problems a lot, facing their regular problems, and they are looking after their family members, providing them some money from their income. So this is the system, the directive principles of state policy, of different state policy, by framing different policies, by making programs, and by appointing some technicians or trainers to provide this education for the citizens of India so that they can gain knowledge from there. And next one, what is the meaning, actual meaning and definition of the directive principles? The directive principles of state policy, these are actually guidelines of the state. The government of India provides certain, programs for the states concerned, and then the states also frame some policies and make their own programs, and some people are appointed. Those who have ability to do work efficiently, they are appointed as workers or as official or officers. Then under their special care, the directive principle, the program of the directive principle is done. For that reason, in article number 36 to 35 of the Constitution of India, in article number 36 to 51 of the Constitution of India, this principle has been highlighted by the Constitution maker in part 4. It is said that the guidelines, principles of the government should be thoroughly taught to the citizens so that they must gain knowledge of the directive principles and state policy and can provide their best services for the all-round development of the country, for the protection of the country. Directive principles are not justiciable to any court of law, like fundamental rights. Fundamental rights are justiciable to any court of law. Whenever the fundamental rights are violated, the person can directly go to the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court is the protector of the fundamental rights. But in the case of directive principles of state policy, The person cannot go to any court since it is not justiciable to any court of law. But the directive principle of state policy, make a person, make a case justiciable, make a person completely free from any type of, stagnation, any kind of, confrontation, or any kind of, dishonesty. That's why the government achieves goal with the help of his workers, officials, who become a part of the directive principle of state policy, and provide special training through his workers, and as a result the people are benefited with the system of directive principles of state policy. The directive principles provide yardstick to the people to judge their government. They serve as a measure to judge the success of the government in establishing welfare state, which was the main objective of the farmers of our constitution. The directive principles have been incorporated into our constitution to ensure social, political, economic justice and maintaining the dignity of the individual. Maintaining the dignity of the individual. This is known as, directive principles of state policy. The next point, economic principles. What are the economic principles? There are certain principles, economic principles or guidelines of the directive principles of state policy. Number 1, equal distribution of material resources. Number 2, adequate means of livelihood for all. Distribution of wealth and means of production. Equality of service conditions. No exploitation of workers. Child welfare. Right to work. Maternity leave and human work environment. Minimum wage, and finally worker participation in management. A platform should be created for the workers. A minimum wage for them should be made, and it should be distributed among them, which allow them to enjoy their social and cultural programs, cultural opportunities, and to live a life of dignity. Workers' participation in management. A platform should be created for workers to have a meaningful dialogue with the management. So their opinion should be taken in matters they affect their lives. So these are the classifications of the directive principles of state policy. There are certain principles and guidelines of these directive principles of state policy, but it should not be ventilated. Why? Because these are the matter of the people, common people of our country, and these are the matter who generally shoulders many important responsibilities of the country. So they are, they are given priority to discuss the whole things, but the person can discuss the whole thing under such circumstances where country's national integrity and sovereignty would never be, threatened. And the president, never declares national emergency or financial emergency in the country. That means adequate means of livelihood is required. Adequate agricultural production is there, so that peasants and farmers should not demand any tax, any revenues. Equality of service condition. That means the government should ensure that the pay structure for men and women is equal. And the work environment is free from gender disease. It is the most important part of the Constitution of India. In the directive principles of state policy, the representatives generally provides ample opportunity for each and every citizen, and they always tries to build them, to indicate. They always try to build the cat during the crisis period. That's why the state needs to see all the citizens are given opportunity, equal opportunity, and ensure that the citizens have the option of improving their economic situation. Up to this, my dear students, next day Gandhian principles of social justice.